Lots of good insights in there. If I can harken back a bit to the starting of Starbucks. Starbucks actually founded in 1971, not by you.
Yeah.
You went to work there right out of college as their marketing director in around 82. Left a few years later because you had the inspiration for what Starbucks turned into. But then, after starting your own, you had an opportunity to buy Starbucks.
Yes.
Raising money to buy Starbucks easy? How'd you go? Was it easy to do? There's a bunch of people in this room who raise money. So kind of how's the story of how you were able to then, you have a recent startup and then buy something and what it's turned into?
I wasn't a very good salesman, obviously, because I always had a hard time raising money or asking people for money. So what happened is Starbucks acquired a company called Peet's Coffee in Northern California. Peet's and Starbucks were together. I had left to start my own Italian coffee bar business. I had 3 stores. And the founder of Starbucks came to me and said, we are in financial trouble. We're going to keep Peet's and move to California, and we would like you to be the steward of Starbucks. That was great news. The price was $3.8 million in 1987. There were 6 Starbucks stores. And he gave me a 60-day window exclusivity to raise the money. The great news is I had the opportunity. The bad news is I had no money. So he came to me about 30 days in and said, how are you doing? And I said, I've got about half of it raised. I didn't know where the other half was coming from, but I said, I'm going to find it. And he said, we got a problem. And I said, what's the problem? And he said, one of your investors in your own company has come around you and has offered us $4 million, no due diligence, all cash offer, willing to close in 7 days. And I think we're going to have to take it. And my entire life stream was just going to be crushed right in front of me. And I was going to lose everything. Well, to make a long story short, I shared my problem with a very close friend of mine who was a young lawyer at the time. And he said, you've got to come to our office tomorrow morning and tell this story to our senior partner. And I said, I'll do anything. So that morning, I went to his office, and I meet the senior partner. I never heard his name, never knew who he was, and his name was Bill Gates Sr. At that time, there was really no Bill Gates
Jr.
to think of. But Bill Gates Sr. was the man, the lawyer in town, a big 6'7.5" man. And I told him the story, and he said, have you left anything out? I said, no. I said, everything you told me true? I said, yes, sir. And he said, okay, come back in 2 hours. I just figured this is the way things must get done. You just come back in 2 hours. The problem is solved. Anyway, I come back in 2 hours, and he stands up, and he says, we're going to go for a walk. And I said, where are we going? And he said, we're going to go see the man. And my heart was palpitating. I was so nervous. And literally, we walked across the street, and I don't know if Mr. Gates called him or not, but we kind of stormed into his office, and we walk in there, and Mr. Gates says, this is what's going to happen. You're going to stand down. You should be ashamed of yourself. And this kid is going to buy this business, and we're never going to hear from you again. And basically, the whole thing was over in 5 minutes. And I walked out, and I'm wondering, okay, what just happened? So I said, Mr. Gates, what's going to happen now? And he said, my son and I are going to help you buy the company. And he did. Now, here's the punchline. 30 years later, Bill Gates Sr. never told a soul how he helped me, that he was an angel, this incredible. And so a year and a half ago, I'm at a Microsoft CEO Summit, and I'm asked to speak at the summit. I've done it before, but Satya Nadella, who's the CEO of Microsoft, is on the Starbucks boards, knew the story, and he said, you have to tell the story today. And so I tell the story, and I'm convinced that Bill knows what happened. So I tell the story, and then Bill and Melinda come up to me afterwards, and they say, who was the guy? and I told them, I've never told anyone because trying to protect that person and his family in Seattle. But Not only did Bill Gates Sr. not ever tell anybody, not send me a bill, didn't tell his own son of what he did for me. And if it wasn't for Bill Gates Sr., there'd be no Starbucks. That's a true story.